6 years. That is how long this story has been unfolding in public view. 6 years since Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepped away from the royal family with what sounded, at the time, like a revolutionary promise. Freedom, independence, total control over their own future. No palace officials shaping the narrative. No centuries-old institution dictating appearances, schedules, or strategy. Just two globally recognizable figures leaving behind the monarchy to build something even bigger on their own terms. Back in 2020, the expectation was enormous. This was not supposed to be a risky gamble. To many observers, it looked almost guaranteed to succeed. Harry carried the name recognition of one of the most famous royal families on Earth. Meghan brought Hollywood experience, media instincts, and global cultural visibility. Together, they seemed perfectly positioned to create a billion-dollar modern celebrity empire capable of rivaling, or even overshadowing, the institution they left behind. The world watched as they relocated to California, signed massive commercial agreements, and presented themselves as the future of celebrity influence. The message was clear. They no longer needed the monarchy. In fact, they intended to prove they could thrive without it. But now, 6 years later, the reality looks dramatically different from the vision that was originally sold. In 2025, serious questions are being asked about whether the Sussex business model is actually sustainable. Reports surrounding Harry's financial position have become increasingly alarming. Commentators close to the royal media ecosystem claim the couple's expenses have spiraled far beyond what their current commercial output can comfortably support. Speaking fees that were once rumored to reach nearly $1 million per appearance are now reportedly a fraction of that figure. Deals once celebrated as industry-shaking partnerships have either quietly faded or significantly scaled back. Spotify walked away. Netflix reduced expectations from the original grand vision. The highly discussed polar-related projects disappeared from public conversation. BetterUp, once heavily associated with Harry's post-royal identity, has largely vanished from the mainstream narrative surrounding the couple. And while revenue streams appear to have weakened, the expenses never stopped. The Montecito estate alone reportedly carries staggering monthly costs. Mortgage payments are said to approach $100,000 every single month. Property taxes add hundreds of thousands more annually. Maintenance on a sprawling luxury estate with extensive grounds, security systems, recreational facilities, and private infrastructure creates another constant financial drain. Then there is security. Unlike their years as working royals, there is no palace institution covering those expenses anymore. Every security detail, every travel arrangement, every layer of protection now comes directly from their own accounts. Industry analysts estimate those costs alone can run into the millions annually. And that changes everything. Because once you build a lifestyle dependent on enormous recurring expenses, the pressure to continuously generate income never disappears. The machine has to keep moving. New launches, new appearances, new content, new interviews, new partnerships. All of it becomes necessary just to maintain the structure already in place. That is the reality many critics believe now sits behind the carefully curated Instagram relaunches, polished lifestyle campaigns, glossy promotional videos, and highly controlled public appearances. And tonight, we are going to break down exactly how the Sussex brand reached this point. How a couple that appeared to have every possible advantage gradually lost commercial momentum. Why former allies and previously sympathetic commentators are now openly using words like overexposed, fatigued, and even survival. And perhaps most importantly, why the one project that still carried genuine public goodwill, the Invictus Games, is now becoming the center of growing scrutiny and uncomfortable questions. Because this story is no longer just about celebrity drama. It is about whether one of the most ambitious rebranding projects in modern royal history is quietly collapsing under the weight of its own expectations. Let's start with the financial structure itself, because once you understand the numbers, the pressure surrounding everything else suddenly makes a lot more sense. When Harry and Meghan purchased their Montecito mansion for nearly $15 million, critics immediately pointed out the obvious problem. They were buying into a level of ultra-wealth that usually depends on either inherited dynastic fortunes or extremely stable corporate-scale income. Reports indicate they financed a substantial portion of the property through mortgage borrowing, with estimates placing the mortgage around $10 million. That alone creates monthly obligations most people cannot even imagine. And mortgage payments are only the beginning. There are annual property taxes reportedly nearing $300,000, full-time staffing requirements, grounds maintenance, estate management, security infrastructure, insurance, utilities, private travel, legal teams, public relations consultants, media advisors, brand strategists. This is not a normal celebrity lifestyle. It is the operational cost structure of people attempting to exist simultaneously as global public figures, luxury influencers, political personalities, philanthropists, and former royalty. The challenge is that the original commercial assumptions no longer appear to be holding. When they first exited royal life, the market response was explosive. Netflix reportedly signed a deal publicly valued near $100 million. Spotify entered the picture with major podcast ambitions. Harry's memoir, Spare, became one of the fastest-selling nonfiction books in publishing history. The Oprah interview generated worldwide headlines. At that stage, many analysts genuinely believed the Sussexes were about to become one of the most powerful independent celebrity brands on the planet. But 6 years later, the pattern looks very different. The Spotify partnership collapsed after limited output. Netflix projects became increasingly smaller and less ambitious than originally projected. Several rumored productions disappeared entirely. Public enthusiasm that once seemed endless gradually turned into something more complicated. Fatigue. And fatigue is dangerous in modern branding because attention alone is not enough. Luxury influence depends on mystique. Scarcity creates value. The royal family historically understood this extremely well. Public access was tightly managed. Appearances were selective. Visibility itself became part of the institution's power. Harry and Meghan replaced that structure with constant visibility. Documentaries, interviews, podcasts, lifestyle campaigns, social media relaunches, personal revelations, public grievances, brand announcements, carefully staged photo opportunities. And according to several branding analysts, that constant exposure slowly eroded the exclusivity that originally made them commercially valuable in the first place. One former media ally summarized the problem brutally. They became overexposed instead of aspirational. That distinction matters more than most people realize. Attention and prestige are not the same thing. Going viral does not automatically build long-term brand power. And critics increasingly argue that the Sussex strategy confused those two ideas from the very beginning.